Then, as we talked about in a bit, he was supposed to relieve Paulus's army at Stalingrad, but he also realized that his army is too weak. He cannot go alone. He needed Paulus to also break up so that at least then, as Paulus's army withdraws to his forces line, his army will be in position to probably support them, and then they can withdraw the German line. And unfortunately, Paulus. That's all I'm gonna say. And this is a massive disaster because the Italian, Romanians, and Hungarian troops that were guarding the flanks have been completely annihilated, and you now lost an entire German army as well. Then, early 1943, he does see a great victory again at the Third Battle of Kharkov. Sorry, I was struggling to pronounce it. And in that battle, he does inflict casualties on around 1/3 of the Soviet forces. So that's around 87,000 casualties inflicted at a cost of 11,000 casualties of his army. So you can say he's quite effective. He was the primary general given the charge of Operation Citadel, which would develop into the Battle of Kursk. This is where actually he and Hitler had major fallouts with. Hitler wanted to wait for the Wunderwaffe or the new Tigers and Leopard tanks to come in, his wonder weapons. And he wanted them in numbers. Manstein, recognizing that the Soviets are really building up their forces quickly, they're building their defenses. He wanted to start the attack immediately, and Hitler forbade him. Even the days when Manstein wanted to attack, Hitler would stop. And the day he finally got the permission, the Russian Air Force decided to just bomb the hell out of the Luftwaffe in that battle. Ultimately, in terms of casualties, we know that the Battle of Kursk, in terms of manpower, cost the Germans far lesser, but they've already suffered in reserves and manpower depletion and overcommitting themselves. This has stifled any offensive potential. So like Germany's last offensive in the east, which is now they're going to fall back on the defense. And you have multiple withdrawals. So like he has to withdraw on the Dnieper River with his army group south. And again, he loses a lot of men because of Hitler, since he's not allowed to go one step back. And this is pretty much the end of his career. And, that's where Hitler, who anyways had because of his criticism to the Führer and traditional disdain and disobeying the Führer's orders, when he returned in late 1944 to recover from some injuries. And, Hitler just said, yeah, you're not going to get anything. And he's just like, yeah, screw this, I'm out. And he retires to an estate. So that was pretty much his war career. I'm not going to get into the post-war trials that he gets involved in. But I do sincerely believe if all generals that participate in the war were given, like, say, equal resources, he's the one I'm always picking out to
Yeah.
put my money on.
Yeah, he definitely would be. Oh,
So I think now that we finished him, there's just one general we really need to talk about. And Greg, maybe you'd like to introduce him since we've covered him already in our North Africa podcasts. An overrated general.
oh, Rommel. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm gonna make this short because it's honestly this is going as long as the last episode, and I do want to try and make
Yeah,
these an hour and a half. I know it's grueling for the audience. What to say
yeah.
about Rommel? He was full of himself a lot. I mean, oh my God, like just from the very beginning, he made a name for himself, and then he really got too full of himself. I don't think that Rommel legitimately understood, at least not fully, the logistics of the modern of modern warfare. Like I would take it to the extreme where it seems that he had placed subordinates in positions that would take it over for him and have to think about the logistics because he seemed to be in love with just, I'm an aggressive commander. I'm just going to perform offensives and things are just going to fall into place. And one could argue it was a necessity because of the lack of resources and the lack of any logistical supply line to North Africa when he's the Desert Fox. Of course, he does have a lot of success. I agree. He's innovative. He's very good on the offense. Defensively, a little bit of a catastrophe, mind you. I think just being willing to take risks is one thing, but making most of your strategy depending like depending upon taking Churchill rations as a strategy is just not good. And yeah, I don't know what else to really say about it, honestly.
I would just say, first of all, like, I guess, first of all, he did in North Africa for quite a while technically violate the chain of command. He was formerly under the Italians.
Yeah, of course.
And I think his mood swings really depending on how the war went, especially when he, between the North African campaign was flying to and from due to sickness and everything. It really affected, like when he was in good health, how the army's morale just completely went. And he did really not like his Italians
I mean, he
allies.
blamed the Italians for all of the faults, and most of the time it wasn't even their fault.
True enough. And for some reason, he is. They say he's a great operational gen, but probably a lot of the Wehrmacht did not really see him as a man that could go for the higher command, the strategic command. Again, the reason he does advance far is he becomes a someone who Hitler admired. That was enough to get you promoted in the Wehrmacht. So, given the paucity of time, I think we'll won't really add more. But he's not, in my view, the greatest German general of the war. Far from it.
Far from it,
But
yeah.
he was good. But he
Yeah, he's
was
good.
good. No, there's no question about that.
I have an appreciation for aggressive commanders, but he kind of takes it to the extreme,